I'm Delisa Renideo, and welcome back to my garden in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. In the last couple of episodes, we explored the placebo effect, how our beliefs and expectations can create real, measurable changes in the body. One of the biggest insights from that science is that our emotions play a central role in shaping our inner environment. The hormones and chemical signals that our emotions release affect everything from our immune system to our body's ability to heal, and just how good we feel, and how much energy we have. If you'd like some more background on the science of the placebo effect, you'll find links in the description to those earlier episodes below in the description section. Today we're going to build on that foundation and focus on two powerful practical tools that you can personally use to consciously shift your emotions. And the two I'm covering today are HeartMath and EFT tapping, or emotional freedom techniques tapping. Both of these are things that you can do very easily for yourself at home. There are also people that you can watch YouTube videos that can tell you more about them. But like I say, I'll have more information to those links in the description below. Now, why would we want to shift our emotions? Well, our emotions are not just fleeting feelings that just go through in our mind. They are energy in motion, real energy. You can feel it. When we feel stressed, worried, or angry, our body produces stress hormones that we've heard of, like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals prepare us for survival, the fight or flight kind of thing. But they also weaken our immune system if they dominate too much in our life. On the other hand, when we cultivate emotions like gratitude, love, and joy, our body produces very different chemicals. Things like oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, other biochemicals that support healing and resilience, and they feel good. We may not be able to control everything that happens around us, but we can learn to shift what's happening inside us. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first tool that I want to talk about is called HeartMath. And it's like two words stuck together, heart and math. HeartMath is based on decades of research into the connection between our physical heart and our brain. I'm not just talking about the heart chakra, I'm actually talking about our physical heart. Scientists have discovered that when our heart rhythms are jagged and irregular, that our brain is receiving stress signals. But when our heart rhythms are smooth and coherent and like a nice smooth sine wave, our brain receives calm signals, and then our whole body comes into balance. And you can find out so much more about this if you go to heartmath.org. One of the simplest HeartMath practices is called the quick coherence technique. So here's how it works. The first step is to just kind of gently focus your attention in the area of your heart. And you can help yourself to do that by placing your hand on your heart and just noticing the feeling of it. And then we're going to breathe very slowly and deeply, as if we're breathing in and out through our heart. And there's a special kind of breathing that helps in particular, and that is that when we breathe in, we breathe in like maybe to the count of 5, let's say the count of 5. And as we breathe out, we make the out breath a little longer. So if we breathe in to the count of 5 and we breathe out to the count of 7, that actually is signaling our bodies that we are safe. And it helps to produce those hormones like oxytocin that just make us feel calm and peaceful. And when you do that breathing, it'll automatically change how you feel, even if you started out feeling kind of stressed. And then we're going to go through this together, but I'm just telling you the steps now. The third step after you start the breathing is that while you continue breathing, think of and recall a pleasant emotion, like maybe gratitude, love, appreciation, joy, and really feel it as if it's happening right now. Because if you do feel it, it is happening right now. And so if you have a particular a picture in your mind of a place that you've been where you just felt wonderful and grateful, you can bring that into your consciousness. So we're going to try this together, and I'm going to walk through this with you. So the first step is, we'll put your hand over your heart and just notice where your heart is. And this begins to shift our attention already. And now we're going to start with the breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. And as we breathe in, I'm going to count to 5. And then as we breathe out, I'm going to count to 7. And we're just going to breathe slowly and evenly for a few seconds, maybe a minute. So now take it through your first breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now while you continue that rhythm, I'd like you to bring into your mind something that makes you feel happy, joyful, grateful. And continue with your nice breathing. Okay? I want you to just now breathe normally and notice if you feel any different. Do you feel more relaxed, more calm, peaceful? This very simple shift, which only takes a minute or two, actually changes what's happening in our nervous system. It's lowering our stress hormones, and it's creating the conditions to bring more healing into our body in just a few minutes. And this is so easy to do. You don't have to close your eyes. I like to do that. But you can even do this while you're driving your car, because it's not like you're going into another consciousness. You're just bringing this nice, peaceful feeling into yourself. After a minute, I'm going to talk more about when is a good time to do that. But right now, I'd like to share the other technique, which is called EFT, or Emotional Freedom Techniques. And sometimes people refer to it as tapping, because it's easier to say tapping than emotional freedom techniques. EFT is another powerful way to shift our emotions quickly. And it combines elements of modern psychology with the ancient wisdom of acupressure. I'm sure you're familiar with acupuncture, where certain parts of your body can be stimulated with needles to get a certain kind of response in your body. But acupressure is when we just are applying pressure on the outside of our body, no needles needed. And we can do this ourselves as a self-help technique. And I'm going to show you how to do this. This is very simple. We're actually going to just gently tap with our fingertips on specific points around our eyes and under our nose and our chin and collarbone while we say some phrases that acknowledge what you're feeling. Now, this technique is particularly good for shifting you out of some of the more distressing feelings, like if you're feeling fearful or very anxious or very angry. You can use it in other ways as well, but when you're having any of those sorts of feelings, doing this technique is very, very helpful. in terms of shifting, releasing that stressful feeling in just a few minutes. So, as an example, we might be saying to ourselves, even though I feel anxious, I choose to love and accept myself. And then we're going to do this. I'll do this with you and demonstrate it while we're tapping on these points. And the tapping itself, the physical tapping, is sending calming signals to the part of our brain that reacts to stress, and it's called the amygdala. And you don't need to remember that, but that is what's happening. Over time, this helps, and not a long time, a short time. Over time of tapping on these points, it helps to break up old patterns, and it helps to rewire your emotional responses. So I'm going to first just demonstrate the tapping points, and then we're going to do a couple of short rounds together. They're called rounds. So first I'll show you where the tapping points are. So the first one is here, right at your eyebrow point. You can tap on one side or the other side or both sides, and it's right where the hair begins to grow on just above your nose. So that's the eyebrow point. The next one, you follow around the outside of your eye, and you get to where the bony socket is here on the outside of the eye. I call that the outside of the eye. And then under the eye, you continue around under your eye until you're still tapping on this bony part. And then the next one is under the nose. And the next one is under your mouth, right in the crease of your chin here. And the next one is your collarbone, but it's not actually on the bone, it's right below the bone. You'll feel a little indentation, and you can do it on either side or both sides. And so it's just on that area right there. There's one under your arm, and if you're a woman, it's right where your bra goes across, right there. It's about a hand's width below your armpit. And then there's one on the top of your head. And you don't have to worry about doing this exactly right, because it's going to work even if you do them in the wrong order, and even if you skip one, it's not that critical. So I don't want to add stress to you by having to remember that. So the first thing that we do is we do something called a setup statement. And this is where you use 3 fingers on the side of your hand, like this, and we say what it is that we're bothered by. So I'm going to make something up. Even though I'm really anxious, and then you would say that to yourself, in this moment, I know I'm okay. And then you would say it again. Even though I feel really anxious, I know I'm okay. Even though I'm so anxious, I know I'm okay. And then you can tap on the eyebrow point. I feel so anxious outside of the eye. I'm filled with anxiety under your eye. I'm so anxious under the eye. Under your nose. I feel so anxious. Under your mouth. So anxious. And then your collarbone point. I feel so anxious. And then under your arm. So anxious. And the top of the head. I feel so anxious. And then I'm going to stop right there. That's around. You can go around as many times as you want. Now that seems like something that you would not want to do because you're focusing on what you don't want to feel. You don't want to feel anxious. But what you're doing is kind of amazing and magical. While you're bringing that stressful thought into your mind and you're tapping, the tapping is releasing the stress that you're feeling. So you're saying, I'm anxious, but as you tap, it reduces that anxiety. And after you've gone around once or twice or 3 times, you may notice, am I anxious? I don't think I'm so anxious. I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm really okay. Anyway, that's a very, very simple example of how you can do that. And again, you can go on YouTube and find things that you can look up or Google it. Lots and lots of information about that. But that's one that I've used in a lot of depth for myself, as well as I have done that with clients to help people change what they're feeling about something. This is not about covering up your feelings. I want to stress that. Neither one of these techniques, HeartMath or EFT, is meant to brush your feelings under the rug. Not at all. What we're doing is we're bringing in in the case of tapping, we're letting the stress of that just drain away. And with HeartMath, once we begin to do the breathing, the same thing happens. It just biologically changes the stress response. And then the same thing happens when we let go of that tension with EFT. It lets go of the stress response, and then it can be substituted with good, peaceful kinds of feelings. So now, when should you do these things? Or when might you want to use these things? HeartMath is wonderful just for daily maintenance. You might do it first thing in the morning. You might do it on your lunch break, again in the evening. I like to use things like this when I'm shifting gears from one activity to another. And if you have an appointment with somebody, you may want to do that before you have that appointment, just to get yourself nice and centered. And it just sets the tone for your day or for the next activity. It can also be helpful to help you sleep, or if you're a little concerned about some event that you have to do, you're going to be presenting a presentation or a talk somewhere, you may want to do this just to get yourself calm and centered. And EFT is especially useful when you're in the grip of a strong emotion right now, fear, anger, or anxiety, because it gives you something to do while you're feeling that fear or that anxiety, and it helps to release the intensity of that and kind of bring you back into balance. It can be used in more depth to release old limiting beliefs as well. But for right now, I just wanted to give you some tools that could help you shift your emotions, because your emotions are such an important aspect of what your inner experience is. And remember, your emotions are not just a private experience. They're shaping the chemistry of your body in every moment, and they're influencing your ability to heal, as well as how you are behaving out in the world. When you practice these techniques, HeartMath and EFT, and there are many others, you're literally choosing the inner environment that you're living in, the environment that your cells are living in. So I invite you to try one or both of these practices today. As you know, it doesn't take very long. And just notice how your body feels when you make even a small shift in your emotion. And know that every time you do, you're saying yes. Yes to healing, yes to your life. So thank you for being here with me today. And if you found this episode helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. And until next time, keep saying yes to life.